G'day and welcome to my channel. In this episode I thought I'd share something special with you. A new species of Pseudomugil, Pseudomugil halophilus, or more commonly known as the Mangrove Blue eye. This species has been discovered from a few known locations, from Gladstone up to Townsville, and was previously probably mistaken for the Pacific blue eye, or Pseudomugil signifer. I have said on previous videos that work needs to be done on these fish, and due to the dedication of some hobbyists and scientists, some good work has been done. And the result of this work is a new species to science, and right on our doorstep. It's not only amazing to find new species, but when you find new species in largely populated areas, it makes it even more special. And it has probably been overlooked in the past due to the similarity to the Pacific blue eye, as young males and even females look very similar to the other species. But due to the habitat of these fish, these areas aren't widely explored. There are dangers like crocodiles and biting insects that make these habitats not too favourable, and they can also be quite difficult to film due to the cloudiness of the water, as you will see in some of these shallow spots I've tried filming in the past. It would be quite difficult to film a little silver fish in these types of waters. I've been lucky in the past with Pacific blue eyes, as some of the mangrove swamps that I've filmed them in at low tide have fresh water running into them, so I've been rewarded with this beautiful footage. And this footage shows just how different the Pacific blue eye are to the mangrove blue eyes. And this shows some of the habitats where mangrove blue eyes were collected. Not always the most favourable places, with very low clarity in the water. And here's some footage from another beautiful little blue eye, the Pseudomugil sinodontalis, from when I was last in Northern Territory. It's a very similar habitat and also hard to film, but it shows the habits of these fish swimming on the surface of the water, where the mangrove blue eye actually prefers to swim in and amongst the mangrove roots, which makes it even harder to film. But they do live in a very similar habitat. I thought it would be interesting to set up a little biotope aquarium just to showcase these pretty little fish, just so we can see some of the habits that you don't see normally on photos. And I've noticed due to the lack of finnage, when these little fish confront each other, they tend to curl their bodies, almost like a dog does when it's happy to see you. And I thought this was an interesting observation. I went with a good friend of mine, Rob Wager. He told me about these fish a couple of years ago, and I was interested to see their habitat and where they were found. But unfortunately it was hard to film these in their habitat due to the water conditions. So I thought it would be interesting for others to see how these fish act in their natural environment in a small biotope aquarium that we set up in the field. The presence of a new blue eye, possibly new to science, was brought to our attention via two simultaneous pathways as part of a broader ongoing studies into the systematics of the family. In 2016, citizen scientist Matt Lakeland observed a Pseudomugil with an unusual appearance and behaviour from other mangrove habitats in Bowen, North Queensland, and discussed this with Jeff Johnson from Queensland Museum. Jeff facilitated contact and live specimens were sent to the Museum of the Northern Territory for photography and genetic assessment. These fish did indeed appear distinctive visually, being most similar to Pseudomugil signifer, but with short rounded fins and distinctive fin colour patterns. Around the same time, in mid-2016, genetic screening at the South Australian Museum of research samples from the Gladstone region via Ben Cook, collected in 2007, and from two sampling trips undertaken by Peter Unmack targeting Pseudomugil signifer across Central Coast Queensland in 2014 and 15 identified anomalous Pseudomugil signifer individuals that were clearly distinct but still blue eye in group. This result was confirmed by further holozyme screening and later independently confirmed using DNA testing. And these are the results from those testings. A new species of Pseudomugil, Pseudomugil halophilus. It makes me wonder how many more interesting species we will find out there. In the wild, these fish are a schooling fish and prefer to inhabit shallow tidal brackish waters. They are fast swimmers. At any slight disturbance will head for cover. This should be taken into consideration when building them an aquarium. Give them some small spots to hide, just in case they get startled. But you will find if the aquarium's set up right, they are quite pleasurable to watch. At the collection site, the pH was 7.7, a salinity of 32 parts per 1,000 and 26 degrees Celsius. They can be kept in fresh water for short periods of time, but prefer salt or brackish water. The best results for breeding, they prefer a salt content of 10 parts per 1,000 to 15 parts per 1,000, with the sweet spot being 12.5 parts per 1,000. The eggs take quite a long time to hatch, between 18 to 21 days, but the newly hatched fry are relatively large and can be fed immediately with brine shrimp, where the adults themselves do best on a varied diet. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd like to thank Michael Hammer, Peter Unmack and Rob Wager for the use of their photos in the field, and especially to Rob Wager for the help with fish. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this, and thank you for watching.